Wilson here again with another video for you. I've decided to show you another way to use the new Ornamental Accent Dies for this one. And we'll just show you the dies we'll use for the card out of our configurations range, the Ornamental Accents. Out of the Swiss collection, I've got the Geneva die making up our focal element. I'm going to be using the olive branches as a little finishing touch, and the Exquisite poppy as our floral element. And the sentiment on today's card comes from the fabulous sentiment set, which is a clear stamp set by Creative Expressions. So I've done a bit of the cutting ahead of time here, and I've used the center die, just the decorative element on this particular ornamental accent, and cut it 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do one more here. So we'll put it into place and just give it a quick tape and pop that down. There we go. And put that onto our cutting base. Oops, not quite enough there. Let's try that again. There we go. Turn it that direction because it'll cut easier going that way. Run it through, run it back. Give it a release here. There we go. So you can see I've got a really nice little framed accent on the edge of the card. Now the next thing I want to do is back that with some blue because the colors here are sky blue and milk. So I'm going to give it a quick spray with some spray glue. That just speeds it up a little bit. Pop down into the sky blue card behind it. Looks nice, so you can see it really does make it pop now. So the next thing I want to do is cut an aperture in the center of that. So I'm going to go to the Geneva die and use this large oval, and let's just tape that into place. And I'm also going to use this pierced ring with it as well. So center that, and I'm going to get them both quite even and tape them as one. Oops, get on there. Let's try that piece. There we go. Tape that. Cut these out. Pop that back on there. Now it's cutting through two pieces of card because I had that sprayed and lined behind it, but I think it gives a much cleaner aperture to do it that way. There we go. Pop that out. And let me show you how pretty this looks. Peel the tape up. So this piece doesn't actually cut, it just adds a really pretty decorative ring of piercing dots, which I really like, something kind of different. So on the back of this piece, I've added a bit of mounting foam, a couple of pearls down the side. I want to raise that up for dimension. So we'll pop the backing off of that. And I like to make sure it's nice and secure all the way around so there's no saggy little areas. So I've got some large pieces on the side. And right around the corners of these ovals here, I've just added a little bit extra to hold it in place. And I've done my usual matting and layering with the milk card pierced. I've put a little blue mat and another milk card. I'm going to center that right in the middle of that. And then this piece here, I'm going to recess down into that. And we'll just use some Cosmic Shimmer glue for that. Just give it a nice gluing around the edge, and then just maybe a little bit extra right around the very edge of that. Okay. Pop that down into that recess. Get that nice and firmly attached. I like to run my finger all the way around it just to make sure it's got good adhesion there. Okay, now moving forward, I've gone ahead and cut the center of the Geneva because it comes in several pieces. So I've cut this decorative piece in blue, I've matted it with milk, and then I've cut the center out to create a frame. Okay, so I've added some mounting foam to the back of that. But what we want to do is put our sentiment there, and there it is. Move this out of our way. So I've stamped a sentiment. and I'm going to cover it with a little piece of sticky adhesive. If you have little leftover bits, I always keep these in a little box because they're great for your sentiments. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to glitter that, but I found that it's kind of easier if I peel that off, put my frame on, and then glitter over. I get really nice adhesion that way, and I don't have to worry about having to put extra glue on. So I'm just going to center that over that, bring in my Diamond Snow, and I'll use a piece of copy paper underneath to keep it a little neater. A little bit in the middle here. Just kind of move it around. There we go. Now I can tip that back in there and take off the extra bit with my scissors. And I don't waste as much putting glitter where the adhesive is, and it's not going to show either. So I think this is a nice way to do it. Okay, pop that down there. So that is now going to go in the center of that beautiful aperture. So let me pop that into place. And it's nicely framed by those piercing dots, really pretty. And I'll tell you, before I forget, I'm going to give you a quick measurement. This top piece that it was originally cut is 6 3/4 inches by just a hair over 6 inches. And then the overall size on this card is 8 1/4 by just a little over 7 1/2. So just before I forgot. Now I'm going to accent this with some flowers. I've gone ahead and cut some of these beautiful poppies. And now the poppies obviously don't have to be red or yellow or orange like a poppy, but I've used just the milk card and the blue to make it match my card. Done a little bit of an accent with some pastel colored baker's twine, and we are going to pop that into place with a glue dot. And I'm just going to seat that right down here, and then put the larger of the 2 flowers that I've created over the top of that. Little glue dot there. And I like to have the flowers kind of in an opposite corner. I think that's a really pretty match. Just sort of balance it. There we go. And one of the things I think is really nice is to add some little bits. So I've cut several of the olive branch, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue, and we'll tuck some pieces in. And the nice thing about these is they can be done and trimmed and cut, and you can use them whole or just use little pieces of them, which I rather like. And you can nip them about and just keep an extra little set of them around, so when you need a tiny little accent for your card, you can do that. So with like this one here, I would take and just clean that up a little bit, nip that out, and I would still use this bit. Oops. Pop that under maybe the smaller one up here. And let's add a little bit extra around this bottom one here. And let's tidy up just where I've nipped that leaf off on this one. And we can put that right under this one up here. Just nice to have a couple little accents. And if you want to use the whole thing, you certainly can. I like to cut them and just use bits of them. We'll pop that right down here. Let's put another one right along the bottom there. And there you have it. I think that's really, really nice. And you wouldn't know that that was the die that I'd used, because it makes a really nice, just a pretty little frame around the edge just by using the decorative insert to it. So don't forget, your ornamental accents can be used in so many different ways. I hope that this gives you some ideas on how to use yours.